we figured out what I do like in books. Now it's time to figure out what I don't like. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all good. So recently I did a video called a 5-star audit where I went through books I've given 5 stars and I picked out similar features, tropes, aspects of books that I'm consistently giving 5 stars. And a lot of you asked me to do a 1-star audit. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be figuring out what do I hate in books? Now, if I were to do a 1-star audit, we'd literally have like 5 books to pull from. I very rarely give 1 stars. It's literally only if it's like offensive or like I really, really, really hate it. But I feel like as time goes on, I'm especially getting good at not picking up books that I'm gonna hate that much. So this is gonna be like a 1 and 2 star audit. I'm gonna be using 1 and 2 star books that I have read. But yeah, let's just head over to Goodreads, have a look at what I've got and see what am I rating low. So when I did this for the 5-star audit, I had to have 3 books that had that trope or feature in. This, because I have so many less 1 or 2 stars, we're gonna have to change up the barometers a bit. I'm looking for at least 2 books. Ideally 3 books that have had that feature, but if it's only 2 and like maybe I've subconsciously realized I don't like that and I've stopped doing that kind of thing, I still think it's something we can talk about.
The rules don't apply.
And I looked for 10 features in the 5-star audit video. Again, I've read so many less 2 and 1 stars than I have 5 stars. So I'm gonna look for between 5 to 8. If we can make it to 10, I'll be so happy. But if we only get like 6, that's fine because like proportionally, I've read so many less 1 and 2 stars. So maybe something that we can start with is like spiritual self-help. I think I've read at least 2 that I've given low ratings. So we've got Only Love Is Real. Oh god, that was a Kylie Jenner book. That was one of Kylie Jenner's favourite books. Yeah, Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Oh yeah, The Untethered Soul. I didn't like any of those. The Untethered Soul was one I read voluntarily. Because here's the thing, I love yoga.
I'm so happy. I swear, I've been doing yoga.
Right, and I love meditation and I love bettering yourself. And like when I watch Yoga with Adriene, right, my queen, literally I'm like emotionally bonded to you know, when I watch her, I want to kind of think the way that she does and I want to look after myself in that way. But then when I try and read some spiritual self-help, sometimes it doesn't work. It just doesn't seem for me in like written format. Now, if Yoga with Adriene were to write a spiritual-esque self-help book, I think I'd give it 5 stars because I just love her. But all these guys I keep reading, So yeah, first was spiritual self-help books and in principle, I don't. I'm open to that. Like I said, I love yoga and meditation. Like I'm open to us talking about that. I listened to a podcast. What is the podcast called? It's a podcast by a Buddhist monk that I listen to. I really enjoy it and I enjoy the way they speak. The Way Out is In. Zen and the Art of Living. I like that. I love that podcast. But book form, something about it, just don't like. In terms of what I have on my TBR, I don't really have a lot because as you can tell, it's something I figured out I don't like. But I do have the Tree of Yoga and I do want to love this because it's maybe about yoga. Maybe I'll be more into it. Like I really, really enjoy yoga. And my queen Yoga with Adriene recommended it, but she also recommended some other books that I didn't like. So I don't know. We shall see, but hopefully I will enjoy this. But yeah, like for all of these, we're going to try and find, books on my TBR that have that feature because that's what we did with the 5-star audit. But like, I don't know if it's gonna be as easy because I try not to buy stuff I don't think I'm gonna like. Next, we can probably say when I read a book and it's like young YA, I keep having an issue with that. Midnight in Everwood. This Midnight in Everwood is not good. That was the first book I read this year and I hated it. You've also got The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, Belladonna by Adeline Grace, Cinderella is Dead. There's just like quite a few that I felt like read young. Right, next was young YA, which I have no way of telling what on my TBR is going to be young YA. I really don't.
The young YA books sneaking onto my TBR.
Because that's my biggest problem, I think, with these books, is that it almost needs to be like a separate age category. Like, these are books that I think should be marketed towards like 12 and 13-year-olds. 11, 12, and 13, right? I was reading YA by the time I was 11. I don't think 11-year-olds are really reading middle grade. They're reading YA. And I think it's so important that this YA exists and these books exist for this age group. But what you want to be reading at like 11 and 12 versus 16 is like very different things. And yes, I think also the part of the problem is we get used to YA that's really written for adult audiences, because that's an issue as well. So I think this should exist, right? But I just don't want to be reading it. And I know I don't, but people aren't talking about when a YA book is released, oh, this is a young YA. People aren't talking about that. And again, this is an issue I have with like expectations versus reality, right? Middle grade, when I read it, I really enjoy it because I know what I'm getting myself in for. But when I pick up a YA book, I expect it to be similar to other YA books that I read, and then it ends up not being similar to other YA books that I read. I've heard some people say maybe Gallant, which makes me nervous because a lot of people have told me that I'm gonna love this as well. It is following a 16-year-old, but I heard some people going, oh, is this middle grade? So I don't know, maybe Gallant, maybe I'll not like Gallant. But yeah, I think it is like an expectations situation. I have quite a few murder mysteries, I think, that I've given 2 stars. We have got If I Disappear, Marion Lane and the Midnight Murder, Malabar Hill, The Widows of Malabar Hill, Agatha Christie and Murder on the Links. We've got a 1 star somewhere for Agatha, The Big Four. Oh girl, not The Big Four. Like, I'm not going to say murder mysteries as a feature that I give low ratings, but I think I am so picky now with murder mysteries because I read a lot of them and I love them and I expect so much from them that, like, I think perhaps, like, there's certain examples on here, like Widows of Malabar Hill, that I feel like if I were to read a fantasy book and feel how I felt about the fantasy book, how I felt about that, like in terms of quality and story, I would give the fantasy a 3 star, but I am just so disappointed because I'm so excited anytime I'm getting to read a murder mystery that I'm like, how dare you, 2 star, how dare you. So I'd say like murder mysteries that disappoint me, but there's no way of like knowing that before going into them. But it is a common theme that if I feel let down by a murder mystery, whereas perhaps I would have given that book a 3 star in a different genre, I'm like, no. 2 star. So yeah, we have another expectations versus reality here. This is again one that I can't really draw out because I hope all the mystery and the murder mysteries I have on my TBR I'm gonna love. But when they disappoint me, they disappoint me. Like
because all they gonna do is disappoint me.
We really don't get along. Like, if they disappoint me, it's like being let down by like a close friend, you know? If you're let down by someone you thought would let you down, who cares, right? If you're let down by someone you thought would never betray you, then it hits hard. So again, like, I don't have any that I could show you that I think are gonna disappoint me because I really hope they're not going to. But inevitably there's some imposters here that are gonna betray my trust, but we don't know until we get there, which I guess is part of the beauty. But before we get into the rest of the video, I want to say a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, which is Atlas VPN. I have got a steal Black Friday deal for you because now you can get Atlas VPN for only $1.70. $1.70 with 6 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee. This is the best VPN deal on the market right now. Atlas VPN is great for unlocking all your favorite content from around the world. Can't access Friends or like any other legendary show that you want to watch on your Netflix while being abroad? That's not a problem because Atlas VPN has got you covered. You can also use Atlas VPN to keep your Google searches private, so you can search the web with real and organic results without it tracking your activity. Something that's so great is Atlas VPN is more than a VPN. It blocks all malicious links, ads, and trackers and tells you when someone is trying to steal your data, which is such an added benefit for a VPN. You can also save money using it because you can get the best deals when shopping online, be that for subscription services or flights or hotels. And something that is so great is that using Atlas VPN, you can protect unlimited devices. So your subscription has unlimited devices. There is no limit. You don't need to get a new subscription for different devices. So again, make sure to check out the amazing Black Friday deal where you can get Atlas VPN for only $1.70 per month, plus 6 months extra with a 30-day back money guarantee. So be quick and check out the link in the description. This is the best offer of the year. It's a limited time offer, so make sure you check it out down below. Okay, back into looking for the tropes. I don't know how we're gonna do from now on. Oh, another one that we have to obviously say is split timeline stories. Because I don't like these. Now this can either be like one timeline is the present day, one timeline is set in the past, or it can be we're following maybe 2 perspectives and they're following completely different storylines. I don't mind it when there's I love it in fact when there's multiple perspectives, but I want us to all be contributing contributing to the same storyline, okay? So for this, we have got, there's loads. Shiva has that. An Ember in the Ashes has that. I could say, I think The Ones We're Meant to Find, you could argue, has that. Hairpin Bridge kind of has that. Oh, Next Year in Havana definitely has that. That's one where it's set in the present day versus the past. Yeah, I don't like split timeline / storyline books. I like it, multiple perspectives, but I want us to all be following the same story. I want a cohesive story. Okay, split timelines is an interesting one, again, because you don't always hear people talk about them. Sometimes I pick a book up and it's got a split timeline and I'm like, we didn't discuss this.
I just
I'm
feel
so sorry.
deceived.
I know, but like,
honestly,
we're
I just
in
feel
this.
so
We're all
deceived.
deceived.
Are there any on my TBR that I know have got split timelines? No. Here's the thing, right? I don't mind it in books when there's like an obviously subordinate timeline. It's when they're equal that I find it difficult. So like I recently read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife and I loved that, but I felt like the present day timeline was obviously the most like serious timeline, you know? It was the main story and it was like feeding information to the other timeline, but I don't mind that. It's when it's two storylines or two timelines that